Hi students, welcome to PhD Jobs and Admission. This is Gauri. So in today's session, I am going to teach you about Pondicherry University's PhD entrance test research methodology subject. So in today's session, we are going to see most expected research methodology PYQs of Pondicherry University that they will ask you in PhD entrance test at Pondicherry University. Okay. So after viewing this session, all of your concepts relevant to research methodology will get clear. As well, you will get an idea exactly what type of MCQs they will ask you under research methodology section in PhD entrance test at Pondicherry University. And most of the PYQs are going to be repetitively asked, so that I am taking this session to practicing more often MCQs. Okay. So all of these sessions that I am taking for research methodology for PhD entrance test at Pondicherry University are really very helpful to all the students, so that they can guaranteed score more marks in research methodology session and they can qualify the PhD entrance test. Okay. Now let us begin. So students, as you know that there is PhD entrance test at Pondicherry University and it will be on 12th and 13th August. So all of you have only 8 days remaining. And all of you can do your preparations very well and you can guaranteed qualify the PhD entrance test by using research methodology complete course that we provide to all the students. In this PhD entrance test, they will ask you 50% MCQs on research methodology and 50% MCQs on concerned subject. So you need to score 50% marks so that you can qualify the PhD entrance test, and as well there are negative marking. So for all of these purposes, we provide research methodology complete course so that all the candidates can score more marks in research methodology and they can qualify the PhD entrance test. In this complete course, we provide full syllabus video lectures under which theory and MCQ lecture series are available. We provide full syllabus notes and mock tests. We have 10 mock tests like this. Each mock test contains 40 MCQs. That's why overall all of you can solve 400 MCQs. By solving the mock test, you can understand your preparation level. We provide more than 1500 MCQs revision PDF and more than 100 solved PYQs PDF. By solving this PDF, all the students can revise all the topics in the single PDF. By solving the PYQs, you can score more marks in research methodology section because most of the PYQs are repetitively asked in the PhD entrance test. And that's why from these PDFs, you will get 80% MCQs out of 100% MCQs in the research methodology section of the PhD entrance test. And all of this study material will be available in Hindi and English, both the languages. So students, the topics that I have mentioned over here, on all of these topics, we have video lectures, notes, mock test, revision PDF and PYQs PDF. Because on all of these topics, they will ask you MCQs in research methodology section at PhD entrance test. Okay. So students, if you want to buy this complete course, then you can either download the Global Online app from the Play Store. For that, I have given the link in the description box of this video, or else you can contact me through these WhatsApp numbers. And the course fees are only 699, and in these low fees we provide guaranteed selection to all the candidates. Okay. So students, this research methodology complete course is nothing but a research methodology revision package, and with this you can guaranteed score more marks in research methodology by preparing your study in minimum days, and you can guaranteed qualify the PhD entrance test. Okay. If the distribution is asymmetric, which measure of location is most appropriate? If the data is in a nominal scale, if it is in an ordinal scale, if it is in an interval or ratio scale. So students, whenever the data distribution is asymmetric and you need to quantify the measure of location. So for quantifying the measure of location, if the data is in nominal scale, then which measure of location is most appropriate? If it is an ordinal scale, then which measure of location is most appropriate? And if it is an interval or ratio scale, then which measure of location is most appropriate? Let us see the options. Mode, median, 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 mean, mode, mode, median, mean. So here they have given the options in order of the question. So first they asked for nominal scale, second they asked for ordinal scale, and third one is they asked for interval or ratio scale. So accordingly they have given the options in the orderly manner. So whenever the distribution is asymmetric, then in that situation there is no bell curve. Okay, so there will be either a positive skewness or there will be either negative skewness. Asymmetry is called as what? Skewness. Whenever there is positive skewness, then in that situation the basically tail of the curve is tending towards the right side. Okay, and whenever there is negatively skewed distribution, then in that situation your curve tail is tending toward the left side. Okay, that's why students, here whenever there is basically nominal scale data, then in that situation whenever you need to measure the location, then in that you can basically rely most on mode. Okay, so mode is the best measure of location if the data is in nominal scale when distribution is asymmetric. Okay, and when the data is in ordinal scale, then the best measure of location is what? Median. And when the data is in interval or ratio scale, then in that situation measure of location is basically what? Mean, which is the most appropriate measure of location. So here measure of location means what? The measure of central tendency itself. Okay, that's why here your correct answer should be what? 4. So now students, remember this: whenever there is nominal scale, then mode is the best measure of location, ordinal scale median is best, and in interval or ratio scale mean is best. Okay, a test of the null hypothesis where the alternative hypothesis is not expressed directionally is called a dash test. So now students, whenever we are going to test the null hypothesis, then the alternative hypothesis is not expressed its directionality. Okay, then what that test we call? One-tailed, two-tailed, three-tailed, four-tailed. So now students, whenever you are going to test the null hypothesis, then in that situation there are two types of test. One is one-tailed test and another one is two-tailed test. And all of you know that basically we test the null hypothesis against the alternative hypothesis, and within the one-tailed test basically this alternative hypothesis is expressed its directionality. Directionality means it expressed whether it is in positive direction or it is in negative direction. And whenever it is two-tailed test, then in that situation alternative hypothesis does not express its directionality, it only expresses its value. Okay, that's why here your correct answer should be what? 2, that is two-tailed, because here alternative hypothesis is not expressed directionally. Okay, so students, we provide Pondicherry University PhD entrance test paper to study material. By using this study material, all the students can score more marks in paper 2 and they can guaranteed qualify the PhD entrance test. In this study material, we provide full syllabus notes and MCQs. In the MCQ section, we provide most expected MCQs and PYQs. By using these most expected MCQs and PYQs, all the students can guaranteed score more marks in paper 2. So students, the subjects that I have mentioned on this screen, on all of these subjects we provide paper 2 study material currently. If you want study material for any other subject, then you can ask me in the comment box. So students, paper to study material fees are only 999, and in this low fees we provide guaranteed selection to all the candidates. To join our courses, you can contact me through these WhatsApp numbers only and you can do the inquiry. So this paper to study material will be helpful to guaranteed qualify the entrance test as well to qualify the interview session also, because within the interview session examiner will ask you a lot of questions about your concerned research topic and research subject. Okay, a sample mean is a dash estimate and we do not know how close it is to the population mean. Now students, basically what is sample mean, and whether it is a point estimate or confidence estimate or sample estimate or distribution estimate, and we don't know, okay, how close this sample mean to the population mean. So all of you know that sample mean is nothing but the average of the data set which is comes under sample itself, and population means is nothing but what, average of the data values within the target population. So that's why students, we basically take the sample from the population, and that's why sample mean is nothing but what, point estimate, and we don't know how this sample mean is close to the population mean. That's why here your correct answer should be what, one, that is point estimate. Which of the objectives below would best represent conclusive research? Now students, they have given you different options, and they asked you from these options which is the option which is an objective of the conclusive research. Determine cause and effect relationships, test specific hypothesis and examine relationship, provide insights and understanding, describe market characteristics or functions. Okay, so students, now let us see what is conclusive research. Now students, this conclusive research is applied to generate findings that are practically useful in reaching conclusion or decision making. So this conclusion basically research is applied to generate findings. So we can generate the findings by using this research. Okay, and these findings are practically useful in reaching the conclusion or decision making. It provides a way to verify and quantify findings of exploratory studies. All of we know that what are the exploratory studies, and whenever we get the findings from the exploratory studies, so we can verify these findings by using conclusive research. It involves application of quantitative methods of data collection and data analysis. It is tend to be deductive. Okay, it is tend to be deductive, and all of we know that what is deductive reasoning, basically from the top towards the down, right? So we have a premise, based upon the premise we test the hypothesis and we get the results. So this is how. So the basically this research objectives are achieved via testing the hypothesis. This is very important, and that's why from these statements you will understand that the main objective of conclusive research is that to test the hypothesis and to examine the relationship if there are any. That's why here your correct answer should be what, 2, that is test specific hypothesis and examine relationship. Okay, you can give this answer based upon these things, and those are, we get the objectives of conclusive research from testing the hypothesis. As well here we use the deductive reasoning, also here we use the quantitative data collection methods. Okay, which of the following is a scale whose numbers serve only as labels or tags for identifying and classifying objects with a strict one-to-one correspondence between the numbers and the objects? So students, from this, which is a scale, okay, whose numbers serve only labels, okay, or tags, so that we can identify and classify the objects with a strict one-to-one correspondence between the numbers and the objects. So there is only one-to-one correspondence between the numbers and the objects also, and we can here only serve numbers, okay, as labels or tags, so that we can identify and classify the objects. So whether it is ratio scale, whether it is ordinal, nominal, interval. Now let us see all of these scales. Now within the ratio scale, we can give the numbers to the entities or objects, we can quantify the objects, we can give the numerical values to the objects. Within the ratio scale, you can do subtraction, you can do multiplication, you can do addition, you can do division, you can do everything. As well, it has absolute zero characteristic also. So in this scale, basically there is not only the characteristic of giving labels or tags to the object so that you can identify and classify them. So this option gets eliminated. Within the ordinal scale, you can give labels or tags to the objects, but apart from that, you can also give orders to them so that you can rank them according to the order. So this is also getting eliminated. Within the nominal scale, you can only give the labels or tags to the objects so that you can identify and classify them. So this is the only thing that you can do by using nominal scale. That's why here your correct answer should be what? 3, that is nominal scale. And within the interval scale, you can give the numerical values to the variables. Then you can make the equal intervals of those values, but there is no characteristic of absolute zero. But here you can do subtraction and addition of the variables, and that's why this also getting eliminated. The internet is the fastest method of obtaining data from a large number of respondents. There are many reasons for this speed. Which of the following is not one of those reasons? Now students, internet, as we know that all of we use internet in today's generation, but here internet, as we know that, is the fastest method of obtaining data from a large number of respondents, and it is correct statement. But there are many reasons for this speed. So they have given you different reasons behind it, but there is only one option which is not the reason behind it, and we need to select that option. This is your correct answer. The speed with which the incentive is sent, the speed with which the questionnaire can be created, the speed with which the data are written, the speed with which the questionnaire is distributed to respondents. Now students, as we know that internet is the fastest method and we get the data basically very fast from a large number of respondents, and there are many reasons behind it, and the first reason is that the speed with which we make the questionnaire. Okay, the another reason is that the speed with which the data are written. Okay, and the third reason is that the speed with which the questionnaire is distributed to the respondents. So all of these are the reasons, okay, behind it, but there is only one option, which is option 1. This is not the reason behind it, and this is your correct answer, which is the speed with which the incentive is sent. Okay, the first step in the marketing research. Now what is the first step in doing the marketing research? Consultations, define the problem and research objectives, then analyze the internal environment, develop a research plan. So students, marketing research means that we basically research on the marketing strategies. We basically gain the data regarding the opinions of the people about any kind of a product which is marketed by the company. Okay, so by doing the marketing research, we can understand the basically the opinions of the people about the product which is under the market. And the first step in any kind of a research, all of we know that, which is what? Definition of the problem, that is the identification of the problem, and as well definition of the research objectives. What are our aims from this research study? And this is your correct answer, that is 2, that is define the problem and research objectives. Whenever you define the problem and research objectives correctly, then only that you can do the further research. But if you do this incorrectly, then obviously you can't do your research properly further. So this is your correct answer. Focus groups can be used to address substantive issues such as. Now students, why we use focus groups? When we use the focus groups, okay, to address substantive issues. But what are those issues? First option is generating new ideas about older products, interpreting previously obtained quantitative results, developing an approach to a problem, defining a problem more precisely. So now students, all of we know that what are the focus groups, right? Focus groups are nothing but a qualitative data collection technique, and under which basically what we do, we have the group of individuals and they have the common characteristics, and that's why they are in a single group. So these focus groups individuals give us their opinions about certain products, okay, And that's why whenever we need to understand the opinions about the individuals about certain products, or whenever we need to understand the opinions about the consumer products, then in that situation we can use the focus groups for the data collection technology. Okay, that's why here your correct answer should be 1. So we can address the issues such as generating new ideas about older products by using the focus groups, and all other options are getting eliminated because focus groups are nothing but the qualitative research methodology, and that's why we can't interpret previously obtained quantitative results by using it, and we can't develop an approach to a problem, we can't define a problem more precisely. Okay, which of the following refers to an extraneous variable attributable to the improper assignment of test units to treatment conditions? Okay, now students, from these options, okay, which is the option which is an extraneous variable which is attributable to the improper assignment of test units to treatment conditions? So whether it is instrumentation, whether it is selection bias, whether it is interactive testing effect, whether it is statistical regression. Now students, let us see all of these options first of all, but before that let us see what is extraneous variable. Now students, extraneous variables are the extra factors or the factors which are around the experimental study, and because of these factors, this basically affects the relationship between the independent and dependent variables under study, and we can't get the better results because of this extraneous variable. Okay, so if you see all of these options, then all of these are the extraneous variables. Okay, instrumentation, interactive testing effect, and statistical regression are the extraneous variable, and because of this, they basically what do? They basically affect the validity of an experiment. Okay, they affect the validity of an experiment. But if you see the selection bias, then selection bias is an extraneous variable which actually attributable to the improper assignment of test units to treatment conditions, and selection bias also affects the validity of an experiment. The meaning of selection bias itself is that you are basically improperly assigning the test units to treatment conditions. Here within the selection bias, you don't randomly assign, okay, the participants to the treatment groups and to the control groups, and that's why because of this only the validity of the experiment is getting affected. What is instrumentation? Instrumentation means what? You are changing the measuring instrument, you are also changing the observer, you are also changing the scorer, and because of this changing the instrument, instrument, the measurements of your research results which you have obtained is going to be changed, and that's why it is affecting the validity of the experiment. Within the interactive testing effect, what is happening? So in this, there is the effect of taking test on scores of second test. Okay, so in the interactive testing effect, there is effect of taking test on scores of second test. Okay, within the statistical regression. Now students, statistical regression is the type of statistical technique, and here if two variables are imperfectly correlated, okay, if they are imperfectly correlated, then extreme values on one variable are associated with less extreme on other variable. So in other words, within the statistical regression, if there is imperfect correlation between the variables, then there is no correlation between the changing values in those variables. Okay, that's why here your correct answer should be what? 2, that is selection bias. In multiple regression, when there are correlations between predictor variables, this problem is known as. Now students, whenever there is multiple regression and if there is correlation between predictor variables, then this problem is called as what? Multicollinearity, auto-association, heteroscedasticity, over-regression. Now students, within the multiple regression, there is the relationship between more than two independent variables with the one dependent variables, and that's why it is called as what? Multiple regression. Okay, and within the multiple regression, when there are correlations between predictor variables, here the meaning of predictor variables is what? Independent variable. Okay, when there are correlation between independent variables, then this is called as what? Multicollinearity, because there is multiple correlation between the independent variables, and that's why this problem is known as what? Multicollinearity. Now this multicollinearity happens when one or more independent variables are highly correlated, and it causes coefficient estimates in model to become unreliable. Okay, so this is what you answer. So students, thank you for watching this session. I hope all of you understood everything whatever I have discussed with you in this session, but if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment box. Okay.